What is going on, my YouTube family? It is your boy Zary from the XMG coming at you today to give you the last artifacts for noobs, and that would be the epics. Now there are some caveats to this, so you're going to see there are very few trash epic artifacts. You have to be careful when you decide to get rid of an epic artifact, because the stats alone on these epic artifacts can be used on somebody. So there's only a select few that just to me really aren't worth it, and make them trash. But if you're just finding me for the first time and you're liking what you're seeing, click that subscribe button, turn on notifications, all that good stuff that goes along with it. And for my XMG family members, you know I love you. Thank you so much for the continued support, the views, the likes, everything that goes along with it. And, you know, it is really early here this morning, like 4:30 a.m. I saw dogs decided not to sleep, so I'm up. Might as well make a video. So if I seem sluggish, that is why. Let's get into it. Okay, first one up here is the Rose of Hope for Auralia. Now, 3-star epic. Every epic is 3 stars, so get that out of the way. Damage 6%, shield 9%, restores 9% of received health. Healing, that should say, to shield. Now, damage at 6%. If you have a character who has over 3,000 attack, that 6% will greatly help them out more than somebody under that 6,000 or 3,000. And shield at 9% is absolutely huge. And 9% of healing received back to shield really increases survivability. This one here, worth it. This is worth it simply for the fact of the damage increase, the shield increase, and it's a guaranteed proc. Every time this person is healed, you're going to get shield back. So early game, if you have this, definitely someone who's extremely squishy. Health does not play into this at all. So you're looking at, you know, shield, you're looking at somebody who can do a little bit of a decent amount of damage, and then somebody who's squishy. So early game, you know, you have your usual suspects if you're lucky enough to get this early game. Mid game, the only defender I would consider putting this on is a Tromgar, possibly Mega Wheel. But, you know, again, you're looking at those squishier damage dealers who you're having trouble keeping up, major shot, etc. And end game, you know, you have your usual suspects. Again, you have the Thelanes, the Wonder Luas. You know, for the meta comp, if you put this on Kyra, because Mor'Doom's imps heal, that'd be fine if you're running them with a Xantera. Then you also could put it on Mor'Doom, buff Xantera herself, because her healing is based off of damage. So that would be good there. Next one up, Paladins Lamp. Potency of 9, armor 300. Each attack on a hero's turn restores 1.5% of the shield per target, but no more than 4.5%. Adam restores 5% per target and no more than 15%. This one here, again, worth it. The potency increase of 9 armor is good for anyone in the game, to the point where it reduces the damage. 300 is pretty good. So, but, you know, again, you're seeing no limitation to how many times this can happen per battle. So this screams goblin all the way, because a lot of them have AoE. So you're looking for like kind of an AoE damage dealer in the beginning of the game. If you bought Freezard, he would be really good for it. Kyra in the early game, she doesn't need the potency. Freezard needs the potency. Mid game, you're looking at someone along the lines of Snorri, Revol. They need potency to get those bleeds on. End game, you're looking again any sort of goblin. Dr. Frank, this would be fantastic. He has the AoE, major shot, and especially Adam. This is one of my favorite ones, the Paladins Lamp, because you're just constantly restoring shield to 4.5%, and then the potency increase of 9. Awesome. Emperor's Crown. Darien, Damage 6%, armor 300. At the start of your turn, removes 1 debuff with a 30% chance. So, again, this one here, for epic-wise, average. Damage to 6%, pretty good. Armor 300, pretty good. But the reason it's average is for the caveat of it's going to remove 1 debuff, which is really good, but it's 30% chance. Brings it down a notch. You know, there's better ones that could be used. 60% for Darian's really good, but nobody runs Darian. So that's kind of a bad thing there. But 30% chance to remove a debuff. It's pretty good, but it doesn't proc as often as you want it to. Maybe 1 every 3 to 4 turns. So all in all, just average. If you pull this one though, definitely put it on your defender. Early game defender, or if you're running a tankless team, you want to put it on somebody who you don't want to get debuffed. Mor'Doom buff, things like that. But putting it on a defender, Tromgar, Salvador, depending on your team composition, is worth it, because they're gonna get the most debuffs unless you're fighting Buff himself. Next one up, Sphere of Sentiment for Ember. Critical damage 12, health 2400. Killing an enemy damage increases damage by 2.25% twice per battle. This one here, for me, epic wise, trash. And here's why. Twice per battle, the damage increase of 2.25% is not bad, but it's only twice per battle. It's really on the low spectrum for a epic one that there's so many better epic ones out there. Crit damage is pretty good because it's a hard stat to increase. Health to 2400. If you have health over, you know, you're looking at pretty much like 25,000, sorry. This really isn't a huge increase. When people are dealing 15k damage, it really is not going to make that big of a difference. But you are going to put somebody on this that I would recommend is you would put somebody who you stack that critical chance on. Any goblin, again, you're stacking critical chance on. Your damage dealers where they have increased critical chance, like a Sharp. Anybody you pair with Sharp. Count Delman gives himself a damage increase, critical damage increase, so this one wouldn't be bad for him because he has that potential. And anybody, you know, AoE who could deal damage, especially Ember. But all in all, this one here is the first trash on the epic list. Next one up, Mask of the Golden Maned. Eric Shieldbreaker, penetration 300, health 2400. Landing a critical hit has a 30% chance to restore 9% max shield, 60 for Eric Shieldbreaker and 18 for Eric Shieldbreaker once per battle. Again, trash. Here, penetration, it does do more damage, but it's not one of my favorite stats in the game. And then there's way too much in the activation of this rune. 30% chance, 9% shield once per battle. Again, you're going to see so many better other epics out there than the Mask of the Golden Mane with the stats. This one here just is really subpar in my opinion. But if you're running like a Lake lead, putting this on a Rin the Unseen would not be bad, because, you know, you get the penetration off the Lake lead. And then any sort of big time damage dealer, you know, Eric the Shieldbreaker would be good because he does more damage versus shields, so that extra penetration would help out, you know, AoE damage dealers. Ember, Wonder Lua, this wouldn't be bad on. Stuff like that. The usual suspects for your damage dealers. You know, Mor'Doom, not bad. But overall, I find it trash. Page's Bag is the next one on the list. Foul, critical chance plus 6, 2400 health. Killing an enemy increases critical chance and accuracy by 1.2%, 3 times per battle. This one here, average. For the critical chance and the health alone, it is an average one. And I like when you kill an enemy, you get a crit chance and accuracy increase, but it's only 3 times per battle, which knocks it down. It's a better caveat than the Mask of the Golden Mane or the Sphere of Sentiment, in my opinion. But again, you're putting this on a damage dealer. Damage dealer, goblins, the usual suspects. Anybody you want crit chance, the accuracy will help on the AoE abilities to make sure it's not dodged. This will help against a buff team. So Page's Bag, average. Imperial Decree is what we have next for Freezard. Critical chance 6, shield 9%. Suffering a critical hit applies invisibility for 1 turn with a 15% chance, 30% for Freezard twice per battle. This one here, average. It's only average because of the proc off of the thing, of the artifact. You know, you're suffering a critical hit, invisibility, so this takes out all defenders. You do not want to put this on a defender, because if you do have it happen, only 15% chance, you're going to wipe your taunt off. So you don't want to put this on any sort of defender. You're going to be putting this, again, on damage dealers, AoEs, goblins, Boruses, Revals, Snorries, you know, any goblin, like I said, Thalanes, Wonderlua, Mor'Doom. This would be good for these stats alone. That's why it falls into the average category. Lucky Clover, General Murdoch, critical chance 6, health 2400. Applying a debuff has a 15% chance to remove a random buff from an enemy. 30% chance for General Murdoch. Worth it. Critical chance, health, screams goblins all the way. Applying a debuff has a 15% chance to remove a buff, and it can happen multiple times. So this is a goblin artifact, the Lucky Clover. If you run goblins in like a hard tower mode, this would be huge. So the chance to remove a buff at 15% is kind of low. But I would actually prefer this one to go to like Dr. Frank. He puts on his AoE shock, and then with his, if that's up, so you're putting up a whole bunch of debuffs there, then you could put it, if he counters, he's putting on that daze, so he has a lot more chance. Also an Atom, this would be not bad for, because he can put that decreased attack on his basic. So, you know, that would be really good. So, you know, obviously General Murdoch. Instructor Goram, this, I mean, if you're just looking for a crit chance, could put it on there. But he doesn't do any sort of real debuffing. You know, and you really want somebody who can debuff on their basic. Shot puts on his blinds, but you're not using it as often as his basic. So if you're going to put this on a goblin, which it's made for, Murdoch, Dr. Frank's my number 1. Or Atom. Horn of War for Hard Orc. Critical chance, shield. Applying a buff has a 30% chance to increase tenacity, increase for 2 turns, 60% for Hard Orc twice per battle. Average. The stats, again, are fantastic. Critical chance, shield, fine with those. Got no problem there. 30% chance, tenacity increase. Twice per battle. This would be good though for, you know, Soleus early game. Eric Shieldbreaker. Foul. Sharp. Anybody who's giving out those total buffs. Patriarchy. But putting this on buff, if you don't have one for buff, could be very good. You might see that tenacity proc every battle for 2 turns because of the amount of buffs he's putting on. Every single buff is going to have that 30% chance, so he'd be good for that. But all in all, I think you could do better if you're looking for caveats to clip that, but crit chance at 6 and shield at 2400 make it average. Buckle of Unrestrained Promises, Hilda, damage 180, health 2400. At the start of the battle, increase max shield by 6%, 12% for Hilda. Now, Hilda's not used very much, but in the grand scheme of things, this one here, average. The damage of 180, you want this on somebody whose damage is like below that, you know, 2400 to receive the max benefit of this. You put it on somebody who's over like 2800, you're really not going to see that big of a difference in damage. But the reason this is average is because of the proc that you get. You're always going to get a 6% shield increase. So my recommendation for this is put it on a defender. You know, Hilda is a defender. This is kind of made for defenders where they have the lower damage output. You need that shield, and then increasing their max shield guaranteed at the start of a battle would be big. So put this one on a defender. Sticking with the panda faction, we have the Shabby Biggie statuette for Kinley. Accuracy 6, health 2400. At the end of the turn, restores 3% max shield, 6% for Kinley. This one here, average. It's average because of the accuracy increase. But that would really make it trash in my opinion. But every single time at the end of your turn, you're getting 3% of your max shield back. So you could put it on your defender. Kinley wouldn't be bad. But somebody like a Thelaine, who's going fast all the time. Garrett, constantly going, super fast. If you're putting somebody, you know, on your demon team like a Chadar, who's feeding turn meter, Buff is switching turn meter with Mor'Doom, so he's going to be going often. Buff himself's going to be going often. Getting back that 3% shield is really, really good because there is no limitation to how many times it goes. So put this one here on somebody who's extremely fast, and you'll receive the most benefit from the Shabby Biggie statuette. Necklace of Natural Strength, Corcorum, damage, tenacity, stunning an enemy, has a 30% chance to apply burning for 2 turns. This one here, trash. 30% chance, you have to stun them. Corcorum doesn't even really stun very much. So you're looking for people who can only stun, and it's not a lot of people. You know, the damage, you want that on a lower damage dealer, and most of the people who can stun are higher damage dealers. Tenacity is, to me, is a must stat. It just doesn't really jump off the page to do a lot. And if you look here, the stunners in the game, Corcorum, Tromgar, Major Shot, Yogi, Ember, Chadar, and Buff. So if I had to pick somebody, Tromgar and Chadar are the most commonly run with the most chances to stun. So I would put this one on Tromgar or Chadar. Next one up, Medal of the Loner. Major Shot, Potency 9, Lifesteal 9. Every damage dealt has a 3% chance to apply ability block for 1 turn, 6% for Major Shot, 15 times per battle. This, again, screams goblins. You have the Potency, the Lifesteal, and 3% chance from ability block 15 times per battle makes it, wrong side, average. The Potency and Lifesteal is a great combination. The stats alone, this is worth it. But if you're looking for that caveat, it's very low. So you want to put it on AoE damage dealers. Freezard, Snorri, Revol, Yogi, Fow, Ember, things like that. But this is built for a goblin, for sure. So any goblin. But I'd put it on Major Shot and get that 6% chance because he does need Potency. If it had critical chance on it, it would be worth it all day, but just an average one here for the Medal of the Loner. Next one up, Gem of Riches, Patriarchy, damage 180, armor 300. Applying shield restores health equal to 9% of the shield applied, 18% for Patriarchy. This one here is awesome for Patriarchy, but overall it is, did it again, average. Now, this is average because the damage is low. Armor is pretty good at 300. Applying a shield restores 3% or 9% of the health applied in shield. Now, Patriarchy already has that built into his kit where he has that random chance. Really, really good for Patriarchy. If you have this, put it on Patriarchy because his damage really doesn't make a difference in the grand scheme of things. Another option here would be Dr. Frank. This would be really good for Dr. Frank or even possibly Adam. But definitely, if you don't want to put this on Patriarchy, put it on Dr. Frank. Loot of Success, Robin Bad, critical chance 6, health 2400, landing a critical hit, increases crit damage by 2.5%, 4 times per battle. This one here, Average. Critical chance and health increase is nice, but the caveats are very low. 1.5%, 3% even for the person it's made for, 4 times per battle. So again, we've gone over critical chance and health quite a bit. If you're strived for a critical chance on a character, put it on there. Garrett, any goblin, damage dealers, endgame, Kyra, things like that. But all in all, this is just average because of the caveats it brings and how low those chances are. If it wasn't for the health and the crit chance at where they are max, this would be a trash artifact. Desert Vigilance. Sergeant Pigwall, damage and health. Killing an enemy increases damage 4.5% once per battle. So, giving yourself a permanent 4.5 increase because there's no chance to having this proc. Damage increase, health. Kind of torn on this one. It is worth it because of the damage increase. It is worth it because of health. But it's a very low end worth it because you're going to give yourself a 4.5% damage increase, which could be beneficial. So anybody who has a really good shot of killing somebody with AoEs, Freezard, this would be good with. Filane. Remember, you want to get this kind of on somebody with a 2,800 or higher damage output to get the most out of that 6% damage. So overall, not bad at all. High, average, low, worth it. Dragonite Chadar. Damage of 180, health 9%. At the start of the battle, has a 15% chance to restore 1 turn of all abilities. 30% for Chadar. This one here, average. This one's average because the flat stat of damage only going to 180. Health 9% is really good. And then at the start of the battle, so you have a one-time shot at a 15% chance. This is a low average, high trash. But I'm going to give it the average. And you want to keep this on somebody who's like 2,600, 2,800 below on your overall damage. So, not bad. There's definitely better ones out there for sure. High trash, low average for the Dragonite. Cup of Cheer for Sharp. Critical damage 12, health 2,400. Landing 3 hits on a single target has a 30% chance to apply a damage decrease and an accuracy increase. For 2 turns, 60% for Sharp can happen 2 times max. Here, trash. Because crit damage to 12 is nice, 2,400 is nice, but there's not many useful people out there who lands 3 hits to a single target. Sharp, Shaolin, yeah, maybe Rantha. If you're using the arrow volley move. But all in all, this is just trash in my opinion. Yeah, we're gonna move on. Magma Rocklinger, penetration 300, shield 9%. Losing health below 100% is a 30% chance. 60% chance for Slinger to apply a damage increase for 2 turns twice per battle. The Magma Rock, trash. Penetration, shield 9% is big. Losing health below 100% has a 30% chance. So you gotta get below 100% health. Then it's gotta be a 30% chance. 60 for Slinger. Damage increase for 2 turns. Only twice per battle. Not the best. If you're gonna use this, put it on Slinger. Honestly, put it on Slinger. So you get that 60% chance to get a damage increase, but you really don't want them to die. But you're going to put this on a squishier character. You know, it does increase their shield, so they got to get through that shield. It's kind of like working against itself. I just don't care for this one really, but if you're going to use it, put it on Slinger so you get that 60% chance. Next one up, Dragonseeker. 6% damage, 2,400 health. Landing a critical hit restores shield equal to 6% of the damage dealt, 12% for Snorri. Worth it. This one is another one of my favorites. Anybody you're putting critical chance on, you can put this on any single damage dealer who needs damage. Remember, you want to have them kind of above that 2800 caveat. But giving themselves health, most damage dealers have a lower health pool. So this one here, any damage dealer, because you're going to be landing crits, putting back 6% of your shield. And if you do this on an AoE, it doesn't say once per target. It doesn't say anything like that. You can just constantly rebuild your shield. This one here is worth it all day. Steelleaf, Thalane, accuracy 6, health 2400. Killing an enemy has a 30% chance to imply invisibility for 2 turns, 60% for Thalane once per battle. Trash. Accuracy sucks. Once per battle, it's really not helping you out much. 30% chance, 60 for Thalane. You can do better. Trash. And finally, the Furious Flame Totem. Potency 9, armor 300. Losing taunt for the first time has a 30% chance to get taunt for 2 turns, 60 for Tromgar once per battle. This one here, average. Average because of the caveats. Potency on 9, armor 300. And you're also stuck to using this only to defenders. So it's really Tromgar, Mega Wheel, Kelrin, kind of need potency if you're using him. Salvador, you don't. Kiri, this would not be bad for also. So, defender only brings it down to an average status, but it's made for Tromgar. Put it on Tromgar. You need those stuns to stick. The extra potency will help. And you have the most chance to get that taunt back up at 60%. And, you know, Kiri, you're going to be losing it so much. The potency would be nice, but you don't want... You put this on somebody who needs potency, which you could because you could be strived for potency. You can just take away everything because they're never going to have taunt. So, all in all, average. Yeah. So there it is, my YouTube family. There is your final artifact for noobs and epics. And, you know, again, almost all of these could be built just for the stats alone. Now, there are some trash ones in there, but they are not nearly as bad as, like, a common trash, of course. So, you know, I did say I was going to do something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to each race. I'm going to start, you know, let's just say humans. I'm going to go through each humans. I'm going to give you the top 3 artifacts for each common, uncommon, rare, epic. And that way you can kind of see the 3, or, you know, the top 3 for each that I would use for each champion. And I think that could possibly benefit people too. Those are going to take some time, so they're not going to be as frequent, but I'm going to get those out. So, again, if you're liking what you're seeing, click that like button, turn on notifications, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. For all my XNG family members out there, thank you so much. I love y'all. See you in the next one. I'm going to go take a nap on the couch, I think. I'm out.